Good Wednesday morning, friends, or afternoon, or evening, or whenever you may happen to join. For those that I may not know, I'm Reverend Jennifer Finley, our Momentum and Discipleship Pastor here at First United Methodist Church in Kirksville. And this is our midweek time to pause together, whether you are still drinking your morning coffee like I am after a late evening, late night with a storm last night, or whether you're up and about for your day. This is our time to simply pause and to wonder together about how and where and why God is meeting us, where and how God is meeting us alive and active in our lives and in the world around us. I've come to treasure this time, as I've shared before, as a way to see God's presence, even and especially in the midst of all that swirls in our world. I know we are in a busy season as school comes back into session for many folks. We're also in a season where the news is full of election news and all of those things. And there are times when it simply is a good practice to take a moment together with others, even in this way, and to pause and to ask ourselves, where is God showing up for us? How are we sensing that presence? For me, the answer to that question these last couple of weeks has been God showed up in the voice of one of our kids here at church. I'm joining you from the steps in our chancel area here at church. It's actually one of my favorite spots because if I sit here in the darkened sanctuary on a quiet Wednesday morning, there's sunlight coming through the windows. It's a beautiful space and I can see out and see the pews and think and pray about all of you who either join us online or who sit in these pews each Sunday morning. But this morning I'm joining you from here because God met me incredibly powerfully a couple of weeks ago in the comment of one of our kiddos. One of our elementary kids was up here for Children's Moment, and we were talking, Sarah Hines was leading the group, talking about our worship series right now that's focused on the movie Inside Out. For those of you who may not have seen it recently, this is a movie where emotions are personified, and an elementary age kid ends up having to move away from family and friends when the parents move for a job, and it goes through what the emotions are like in that move. And joy is personified, so is sadness and anger and frustration and disgust. And joy is attempting to control everything, to make sure that every experience is joyful and beautiful and wonderful and happy. And I won't ruin the whole story if you haven't seen it for a while, but if you have, you know that that project doesn't go quite as Joy has planned. And she learns a few things along the way. Now, as this movie was being described to our kids, many of them had seen it recently at a movie viewing, one of the kids just said, "Joy is delusional." Joy is delusional. Now, of course, that got a chuckle from the congregation, but the point of Children's Moment isn't for folks to laugh at our kids or even with our kids. And actually, God met me incredibly powerfully in that moment. For me, our child spoke truth. Because when I had recently viewed the movie once again, I found myself really frustrated with Joy early in the movie because it did seem like Joy was delusional. Joy was not allowing the other experiences to be present and was trying to control all of the things. And there's a powerful turning point in the movie where Joy realizes by watching sadness sit and listen to the main character's sadness, that when we acknowledge the multitude of emotions, they can coexist together in some ways. And so God met me in this comment. It was maybe an offhand comment, and I would love to ask this kid what they meant, because sometimes I don't think we take those comments from our children seriously. I'm sure there's some beautiful thought behind that. But it was beautiful truth-telling, because there are times in my life, and I wonder if there have been times in yours, where that sense of forced joy has absolutely been a delusion. Sometimes in our culture, we talk about that now as toxic positivity, this sense that everything, at least outwardly facing, must appear like it's positive and happy and joyful and good. But of course we know that the sense of joy, inward joy that is deeper than simply a surface level happiness. And that comes from acknowledging the multiple ways in which our life can be all of the emotions rolled together. So God met me in the voice and the wisdom of one of our kids. One of the things I love about what I do is that I get to learn from all ages. I get to hear the wisdom of our kids and the wisdom of our college students and the wisdom of our older adults. And I wonder, where is God meeting you in the wisdom of others? This morning I thought I would share a poem. Some of you may have run across this before. It's by the ancient poet Rumi. And it's one that I have run across before that has been shared with me in times when I'm listening for God's voice in the midst of the rush of the wind and the world around us. It's called The Guest House. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. Now, there's some beautiful things in this poem. There's also some words that I have found challenging over the course of my life at different times, and perhaps that's true for you as well. But I love this image of our life as a guest house where we are invited to welcome our joy and our sorrow and all of those other emotions that sometimes come as unwelcome visitors or unexpected visitors. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows. Treat them each honorably. Be grateful for whoever comes. And so, friends, I'm wondering what that looks like for you in your life. To acknowledge that joy doesn't have to be delusional, but joy can indeed sit together, can be welcomed in with all of the other things. For we know that we have all experienced a multitude of sorrows in life and also a multitude of joys, and they coexist together in this being human and this being human together. So wherever you are today, know that you are not alone in being human. And my hope and my prayer for you and for me and for all of us together is that we may listen for the wisdom that comes from within ourselves, the wisdom that comes from God, and the wisdom that comes from the voices of all ages around us. Go in peace, my friends.